This video has been sponsored by Affler and Retainful.
Well, hey everybody, welcome back to the One Shopify Podcast. I'm your host Aashika, and today we're diving deep into a topic that has quietly become one of our most powerful drives of e-commerce growth, which is exactly social proof. In a digital world where customer attention is harder to earn than ever before, trust becomes the currency, and social proof is how we earn it. Joining us today is Neil, Director of Partnerships at Judge.me. Neil brings decades of experience across the e-commerce ecosystem, and his work at Judge.me has placed him at the center of one of the most important conversation trends of our time. Welcome to the pod, Neil.
Thank you, Aashika. Thank you for having me.
Yes. So, Anil, let's set the foundation. The idea of social proof has been around for decades, but in today's e-commerce climate, especially with the Gen Z and mobile first buyers, it's evolved. What does social proof really mean in 2025?
Hmm. Yeah, you're absolutely right. The sort of social proof has been around for many, many years offline, but it's now sort of like moving towards online. And I love that sort of transition from what we see offline onto online. Social proof comes in many different forms. It can be as simple as a restaurant. When you go into a restaurant, them seating their customers in the window so other people see that the restaurant is busy. It could be when Apple have a new launch of a new iPhone, it's having those people queue outside to show that the new iPhone is very, very popular. So it comes in different sorts of forms, and essentially it persuades people to buy from you. And I've always been fascinated by how these principles of persuasion move from offline to online. And we see more and more often online. You've probably done it yourself, Aashika, when you be buying, looking at a hotel or an airline, it shows you how many people are looking at that particular flight or that particular hotel room. So what it does, it just increases that social proof that other people are doing the things that you're looking for and have been through that process before. So it gives you a bit of comfort, and it just increases those forces for you to buy and to buy now, basically.
Okay. So one thing I have observed is that timing plays a huge role, if I'm not wrong. And customers trust recent reviews more than older ones. How can brands maintain a fresh flow of reviews without annoying customers?
Yeah, it's true. So feedback fatigue is a thing. So it's you've got to be very conscious of when you send that invite for feedback. But obviously, as a brand, you want yours to show up over other people, so they respond to your review request rather than someone else's. And what we do at Judge Me is we try and make that request as close to that buying transaction as possible, right? So, we're all the same as humans, right? Whether we go into a store and we're buying some new shoes, that feeling of buying something new is very exciting, but it's no different to actually when you buy online and you receive it from the courier. So, that's still that feeling of, oh, I've got something new really exists. So what we try and tap into as very close to that feeling as possible, we ask them for a review. So at Judge Me, we have different integrations with like shipping companies where actually we know when that delivery has been made. So then we can send out an invitation to leave a review as close to that transaction or that purchase as possible. So, we're benefiting from that great feeling that you've got from that product, and then we ask for a review then, and that's when we seem to get the best response rates. And so that's a really good, easy way to get a good response rate, but also that allows you to build up those more relevant reviews that are most recent. And it's very, very important, like you say, obviously people are looking at what your service levels are now or your product quality is now, not 6 months or 12 months ago. So yeah, it's very important, especially around when we had that, COVID. People didn't necessarily know if a business was still running or whether their processes or their delivery was still what they were expecting previously. So it's very, very important for you to display your customer service levels and your product quality levels as close to real time and now as possible. And so, by displaying your reviews on your website that's automatically updated when someone leaves a review is very, very important.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So being in the Shopify space for more than a year now, I could see a lot of D2C founders struggle with this chicken and egg problem. I need reviews to convert customers, but I need customers to get reviews. But what's the one low lift strategy early stage merchants can implement to kickstart the review engine?
Good question. Very good question. When you're starting a new business, I'm hoping that there is a reason for you to start that business. So there has been some interest before, or you've been working in a particular sector before, or you've maybe tried out this product with your friends and family, so you know that it's potentially going to work. So it's that sort of situation where actually, let's just say you've been selling your product offline for a few months just to test, the product, see if it's something that people like. You can actually invite those people to leave you a review. So when you actually do finally go live, you've going live with a number of reviews from those people that you've sort of tested your product out with. But also a lot of people, when they're maybe creating their website for the first time, they might have been selling on marketplaces. So that might be, your Etsy's or your eBay's or your Amazon's, for instance. You can actually import those reviews into JudgeMe. So actually, when you go live with your, grown up new website, you can actually bring in reviews from other platforms that you've been maybe selling them before. Or as I said earlier, you can actually invite those friends and family that maybe have been testing your products, or, being that sort of guinea pig of a particular service. You can ask them for reviews and collect those reviews and then display them on your website when your new site goes live.
Okay. So if you're coming to the topic of UX, where do you recommend embedding reviews for, maximum conversion impact? Say homepage, P2P, cart, post purchase, or like all of the above?
Yeah. Look, we talk about a trust gap quite often, right? So this is a gap between a buyer and a seller. So if you're a buyer for the first time and you're going to, a new website, there's a trust gap. There's like, well, I don't know this company. I don't know about their products. I don't know their delivery practices. I don't know if my payment details are going to be safe or whatever. So you need to fill that trust gap. And fill that trust gap with reviews is a very quick and easy and inexpensive way to fill the trust gap. So what I would suggest is that you have on your homepage, you have some trust signals. And that could be David Beckham loves this product, right? If you know David Beckham and he's on your speed dial, probably not, right? So actually, to fill that trust gap, having reviews above the fold on your homepage will have a big impact on filling that trust gap. So it will immediately show those trust signals to these new buyers to say, you can trust us. We have had significant amount of people buying from us before, and so keeping those people on your website via reviews is a very important first step. It increases dwell time, it reduces bounce rate, all these things that Google look at to increase the SEO of your company. But what it does, it means that buyers are going to be, trusting your website from the first sort of 10 or 15 seconds by looking at these trust signals and then moving through that sales funnel, looking at your products and hopefully putting them in the basket and then buying.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm damn sure you have seen thousands of Shopify stores, but what's the biggest mistake you see brands make with their social proof setup?
Yeah, maybe not displaying it in the right ways. Like I say, above the fold on the homepage is very, very important. But also something that you need to be aware of is what's called low social proof, right? So low social proof sometimes can be worse than no social proof, because as much as people look at your rating, they also look at the number of reviews that you've got. Now, if we're talking about product reviews, I think having one product review is absolutely fine. That's not a problem. But it's your store reviews. If you've only got one or two store reviews, That's low social proof, and that's not necessarily going to look good in the eyes of these new consumers. So my suggestion for brands is, as soon as you collect product reviews, put them in on your PDPs, making sure that you've got reviews on a particular product. However, with your store reviews, I would suggest you wait till you've got 10 or 15 store reviews before putting them on and publishing them on your, say, on your homepage. So, because I think just one or two might just give the wrong impression that people aren't buying from this site. So it's actually better to not have any reviews until you're up to that 10, 15, maybe 20 reviews that you've got, then start publishing them on your website, and then you'll start seeing an increase in conversions.
Okay, got it. So yes, I have also seen a lot of them, posting only having like 2 to 3 reviews.
Yeah,
Actually, yeah.
not on your store reviews. I wouldn't necessarily publish those straight away. Have them internally, learn from those reviews, but have a strategy of how you're going to collect more and more reviews. And when you get to a significant amount, that's when you then publish them, rather than just showing 1 or 2 store reviews. People will be like, no one's buying from this site, so why do I want to buy from this site? And that's the whole point of social proof. So having low social proof, as in going past a restaurant with only one person in, that's not social proof. That's is something wrong with that restaurant.
Yeah.
Whereas actually having people, and that's why you put people into the window, so people look past and think, well, it might be busy in there. So and that shop window is very similar to your homepage on your website. So actually having 1 or 2 reviews is not good. Having 10, 15, 20 reviews is good. It's like, oh, people are using this site. I've seen that the reviews are coming in the last couple of days. This gives me social proof, which means I want to then go and buy from that store. So yeah, I just wait, be patient, get to 15 or 20 store reviews, and then start publishing on your site.
Yeah. Actually, this is a very good point. Everybody, please take a note of this. I mean, you could write it somewhere. And also, talking about video reviews, we could say that video reviews are currently booming, especially with the TikTok of commerce. And how can brands encourage and collect video content at scale, especially from regular customers and not influencers?
Yeah, ask for them, right? So Judge Me has we have picture reviews, we have video reviews. I would suggest just asking for them. So in your invitation process, just say, hey, look, we really sort of value your user generated content. So whether that's an image of you on your new bicycle, or actually a video of you playing tennis with your new tennis racket. With Judge Me, we allow you to incentivize for those particular reviews, because we know they're so important. It has such a good impact on not just conversion rates, but just answering quite a lot of questions about the product, because you're seeing it in real time. You're seeing it actually being used. So with Judge Me, you can actually reward consumers for leaving a video review with, say, a coupon, so a 10% off coupon code. So incentivize people. Firstly, tell them how valuable they are to you as a business, but also incentivize them for them to go out and set the video up and get them playing tennis with the new tennis racket or whatever it might be.
So we're all in this AI era where, synthetic content is everywhere. And how does Judge Me verify authenticity, and how do you ensure reviews stay trustworthy in a world where fakes are easier than ever to generate?
Yeah, another good question. So we have a verification process, whereas only reviews that have been received from sending out an invite from Judge Me email servers will be classified as verified. So we know that transaction's happened. We will send out an automatic email for a review, and if that review has then been responded to, we can verify that that's been an actual purchase, right? So it's important that consumers know the difference between a verified review and a non-verified review. So, verified reviews are seen as legitimate. We encourage our merchants to collect verified reviews, and we will reward those merchants via medals. So like an authenticity medal that you can display on your website to say, hey, by the way, 80% of the reviews that we've got are actually authentic because they're verified. But we also have ways of verifying reviews as well. So we might reach out to someone that's left a review and say, hey, look, we just want to make sure that, Aashika, that is actually you. Can you give us a response to let us know that you actually made that purchase? So we have different ways to actually verify reviews, but I think it's very important, and consumers should definitely, should know the difference between a verified and unverified review. And I would say that verified reviews hold more water and, are, pretty much, authentic and not being, created by AI, because you're right that these there is some bad actors out there, and they know the importance of 5-star reviews. They know the value of 5-star reviews so much they want to try and shortcut a way to get in those reviews. However, with our platform, we know about these bad actors, and we have different processes in place. I don't want to go through them all because obviously then people know how to maybe skip and get around our different processes. But yeah, essentially what I would say is for consumers to look out for these verified reviews, and on the websites that our merchants have, is to look at for these medals, these authenticity medals, to make sure that they know that the reviews they're reading are authentic and they're not fake and created by an AI bot somewhere.
Yeah. Do you actually think customers care about these AI generated reviews if the content feels real, or is it like transparency is more important?
Yeah, consumers are looking for authenticity rather than perfection, right? So they're looking for something that feels authentic. So I feel that having AI generated reviews is a really big no-no. I think AI has a place when it comes to the review space, but you really need to handle it very carefully. So reviews are a very good way for merchants to build emotional connections with their customers. We're all about emotions. We're human beings at the end of the day, and online can often feel very faceless and very, impersonal. So actually having a way for you to connect with your customers in a personal way, have an emotional contact, is very, very important. So you don't want to be leaving that up to an AI agent, for want of a better word, to maybe respond to reviews. But what I can say is that I think AI does have a place with reviews. So a good example might be, if you've received a negative review, please don't use AI to respond to that review, because that's your real good opportunity to turn that customer around, but also to show that you are human. However, if you are getting a significant amount of positive reviews and you do want to respond to those positive reviews, sometimes you can run out of ideas of how to respond. It's like, oh, thanks for your review, or we're really pleased about your review. So maybe use AI then, because it's a little bit less important, because obviously someone's left a good review. You just want to acknowledge that they've left a review and thank them. Sometimes you can, lose the ideas of how to respond. So maybe use AI in that respect to be like, oh, how can I put a different response to this particular email, and just let AI do the work there. But negative reviews, please respond via human to help turn that customer around, to help rectify the issue that they're responding via a 1-star or 2-star review. And like I say, build that emotional connection with your customers. That will really go well in retaining that customers and building loyalty with your customer base.
Mm-hmm. Is there any use cases where AI can actually support or enhance the review experiments, like, say, summarizing reviews, tagging themes, etc.?
Yeah, no, you're right. Summarizing, I think AI is a very good way of summarizing reviews. Some people have hundreds, sometimes thousands of reviews, right? It's very, very hard for you it's very difficult to expect a consumer to read all of those different reviews. if you're anything like me, Aashika, I'd probably just look at the 1-star reviews and look at what the worst that can happen. And often it's just a late review or something that's been rectified, so it's absolutely fine. But I think you're right. I think AI can be used for summaries. So we have an AI summarizer. So you might have a ton of product reviews, and rather than having to read them all, the AI will just summarize it, saying, this product comes up a little big, or a little bit small, or this product has really good quality. Excuse me, the service is really good. I don't know, the delivery's always next day. So definitely AI has a place to be utilized in summarizing your reputation. So yeah, I would definitely use AI in that respect.
Neil, I'd like to get into data. What kind of lift in conversion rates have you seen when merchants optimize their review strategy?
It really does depend. It depends on loads of different factors. There's loads of different moving parts that has an impact on reviews and conversion rates and what have you. But what we do know, and we've heard from some of our merchants that talk about a 20 or 30% increase in conversion rates when they utilize a review strategy. But you also see an increase in average order values as well. So the more trust you can portray, the more it mitigates risk. So essentially what happens is a consumer will come to your website. Let's say, for instance, we have a really big bike retailer in the UK called Halfords. They're not the cheapest, but they've got a really good reputation, a really good brand. What you might be doing, it might be little Johnny's birthday and you're looking to buy them a bike, and you're looking to buy them a helmet as well. So you found the bike, which is a very high ticket item on Halfords, and you're thinking about buying it there. But you've noticed that their helmets are very expensive. So you found another website that you don't know, and you were thinking about buying a helmet because the risk is lower, because the price is lower. However, if you're on that website and you do then get this sense of being able to trust this website you don't know via their reviews, there's a good chance that you might think, well, actually, that's mitigated the risk that I had with this website. I might well then go and buy the bike from this website as well. So rather than Halfords, where it's more expensive, that I do trust, actually now I've got a sense of trust with this new website. So not only will I buy the helmet that was £10, I'll now buy the bike that's £150 because I feel like I trust this website more. So what you do is by portraying those sort of trust signals on your website, you'll see the average order values going up from your consumers because they're more willing to risk, or the risk is lower. So they're more willing to spend more because they know that what they're going to get is going to be of a certain quality. It's going to turn up when they say it's going to turn up. And maybe, your contact details, your credit card details are going to be safe. So having reviews and building that trust on your website will not only see an increase in conversions, it will also see your average order values going up as well.
So have you seen any correlation between review quantity and repeat purchases? Like, does more social proof lead to more loyalty?
More social proof leads to more, I'm not sure. I know social proof certainly leads to more sales. So we like to belong and we follow the pack. So when we see social proof, we're like, okay, well, someone's been on that journey before. That's going to convince me to buy. But it's then it's then up to the brands to keep those consumers loyal. So you can certainly use reviews to keep a customer coming back. You can make them feel more of a club, more of a network. You have sentiment from those your consumers. So maybe how you can differentiate your communication to them. So a good example is if you're getting lots of 5-star reviews, your communication method post-purchase can be different to those people leaving maybe a 2 and a 3-star review. So that could build loyalty. What we're seeing that brands are doing is trying to build communities now. So that actually, they know the importance of keeping those customers. So a first-time buyer, they know they need to try and get a repeat purchase for them to continue to be successful. We know it's cheaper to sell to an existing customer than it is to a new customer. So use your reviews to have a post-purchase retention strategy based upon the sentiment they hold towards your company. So like you say, those 5-star reviews, put them into one cohort to be like, okay, well, we know that they love our company. They love that first experience with them. How can we maybe we can point them in the direction of our loyalty program. Maybe we can upsell, resell products to them because we know that they hold high sentiment towards us. Then you've got the customers that maybe have left a 2 or 3 star reviews. That might be a different communication strategy. That might be trying to reconvince them that you are the right brand to work with. So you might need a coupon to say, hey, look, your first experience wasn't perfect with us, but we went the extra mile to try and make that, to rectify your issue. Here's a coupon, try us again. Here's 20% off your next order, or here's some store credits, or whatever it might be, to try and convince them to come back. So I think reviews play a part in loyalty. Whether more reviews mean more loyalty, I'm not sure, but I think loyalties definitely have a part to play in helping retain customers and building that loyalty with your customer base.
So what about this B2B versus B2C? Are you seeing difference in how social proof is leveraged or received between those audiences?
Good question. I think B2C obviously works very well. So your B2C brand, you're probably going to have more customers than B2B, maybe. Yeah. B2B, we see lots of returning customers, right? So it's maybe more loyal customers, but probably less of them. So if you are a B2B company, it's important that you collect reviews. However, just be aware, if you've only got like 100 customers, just be wary of what a negative review might do. So if you're a B2C and you've got thousands of customers, 1 or 2 negative reviews is not necessarily a bad thing, because it shows you're authentic. It shows that you actually sometimes do drop the ball, but it's also your opportunity to show how you've rectified that bad experience. And it's diluted by all those positive reviews. However, B2B, if you have only got, a handful, 100 of customers that do keep returning, obviously 1 or 2 bad reviews is going to have a bigger impact on your overall sort of reputation. So be careful in that respect. One thing I do like about reviews when it comes to B2B is it could be an early warning signal. So your customers are obviously more important to you as a B2B than B2C, because like I say, B2C, you've got thousands of customers, right? If you lose 1 or 2, it's not going to be the end of the world. If you've only got 100 customers, you lose 1 or 2, that could be a big impact on your profits. So what reviews can do is can be an early warning signal. So for instance, if you've got a customer that's constantly giving you 4 or 5 star reviews, and then they start 1 or 2 become 2 or 3 stars, that's an opportunity for you to reach out and actually go that extra mile to say, hey, look, there's some risk here that they might leave us as a returning customer. We need to go and maybe see them. That happens B2B. Sometimes you go and you have that conversation with them over a coffee or a beer or whatever. Or it could be just picking up the phone, having that conversation. We're really sorry that we dropped the ball here. We know that you're a valued customer. We've seen that you just left a 2-star review. I'm so sorry. What can we do? So, yeah, I think they have a really important play in both those B2C and B2B. It's just be a little bit more wary on the B2B side that, if you ever got 100 customers, you're probably only ever going to see 15 or 20 reviews, right, from those customers. If 1 or 2 of them are negative, that skews very badly in the negative side. So just be wary of that.
Okay, if a brand only had like 30 minutes to improve their social proof today, where should they start and how do they do it?
Well, download and install Judge Me. There we go. And then that'll take you 5 minutes. The remaining 25 minutes is you can create a great invitation that engages with your audience to get them to leave feedback. So Judge Me is very, very simple to install. We're built for Shopify. So it's going to look and feel exactly how it looks and feels when you're using the Shopify admin system. Very, very easy to get those widgets and those invitations out. So that's your 5 minutes. The 25 minutes is having a little think about your review strategy, having a little bit think about your invitation, how you want to, how you want to communicate with your customers to ask them to leave a review. What's very, very important is to be a little bit more human, right? And in that invitation, say, look, we really value your feedback and we'd really appreciate that you leave us a review. And this is what we're going to do with review. We're going to actually take it on board. We're going to listen. We're going to respond. But also anything that we can take out of that review is going to help us run our business. So yeah, 5 minutes of installing Judge Me, 25 minutes of thinking about a review invitation and how you're going to work your review strategy.
Okay. So can you spill us the tea on what's an upcoming feature and Judge Me? Like what should people should keep eye on that Shopify merchants should be excited for?
We are always constantly making improvements to Judge Me. So on average, we build at about 8 different user cases a month. So I'd say always keep an eye on our newsletters to know what's coming next. But yeah, we're constantly innovating. So we're always looking to make improvements, and that could be in how you collect reviews. So at the moment, not at the moment, but traditionally you'd send out an invitation to leave a review on an email. However, we've now got different ways for you to collect reviews via like WhatsApp and SMS.
Yes.
So we know that WhatsApp and SMS have a better engagement rate than emails, and you're more likely to get a response from a WhatsApp or an SMS. So yeah, we're always looking to innovate. We're always making improvements to Judge Me. 7, 8, sometimes 10 more user cases every single month, which sounds crazy, but we're a small and mighty team at Judge Me, and we're always looking to improve.
Great. And lastly, let's look ahead. What's your boldest prediction for the future of reviews and social proof in like next 2 to 3 years?
I think reviews are always, they're probably more important than ever, right? So in this world that we live in, trust is being eroded. There's always bad actors out there. So I think reviews is always going to be and becoming more and more important. My prediction for 2 or 3 years. Do you know what? Something I really like. I'm not saying that this is what we're going to do at Judge Me, but this is something that I really, really like. Is because of the importance of reviews, and because how consumers interact with reviews, they hold so much persuasion for consumers. They're more and more looking at reviews before they make a purchasing decision. So what I would like to do, or what I'd like to see in the future, is maybe having a buy it now button on a review. So as an example, we have a review site. So this is basically a collection of all of our merchants on Judge Me and all of their products on a consumer facing website. What I'd love to see is when people read a review about a particular product, there's a buy it now button that basically then takes that consumer straight into the checkout for them to buy a particular product. So you don't have to go through that whole sales funnel of a website. You can actually buy a product from the review, from reading the review, and a buy it now button actually on the review. So that's what I'd like to see come in. And I think that just the importance of reviews and how consumers interact with reviews, that might well become a reality in the next 2 or 3 years.
That's good. And yeah. So, Neil, we have come to the end of the pod, and I really had an incredible conversation. Instead of incredible, I would say insightful conversation with you. And also, thanks for giving us a front row seat in what's working and what's next in the world of trust, proof, and performance in e-commerce. Thanks for coming to the pod, Neil.
No problem, and thanks for having me.
Yes. And to everyone listening, remember that traffic might be expensive, but trust is compounding. Social proof isn't just nice to have anymore, it's the shortcut to scale. And yeah, don't forget to subscribe to the One Shopify podcast, and we'll catch you in the next episode. Thank you.